Hello, how's everyone? Thank you for spending some time with the air. I am the air, Epsilon the air, actually to be precise. And today I want to talk about Asibikaashi. She's an interesting person and something that everyone should know because she is what we know as the forgotten Messiah. And I'm here more or less to provide information and hopefully resurrect her a little bit today. And most of my taking is all non-scripted, means I do not have a script. I simply just say things as it comes off the top of my mind. So this might be a little bit tedious, but eventually I should write some script so I have some format to work with. But let me see what I know and what I can tell you. Well, I want to talk about Asibikaashi. She's a very important person because she is a forgotten Messiah. And most people might not agree to it, but I've done my homework and study that she was a Messiah that simply has been forgotten. And what's even more interesting about Asibikaashi, she's not only a forgotten Messiah, but she is a woman. Wow. And that's probably why she's forgotten, because she was a woman Messiah. And she came from North America, near the lake, the Great Lake of Ontario, and she belonged to the Obisha clan, a native, and she basically used to live in that area, near North America, in Canada, or in around the Great Lakes. So she would have been probably in the United States too, a little bit back and forth, because in those days there was really no borders. So, but if we had to document it precisely, she would have probably been a Canadian, more than an American, because she came from the Lake Ontario, Great Lake Ontario area, and she belonged to the Obisha clan, native. So therefore, I would more or less consider, well, they were one of the largest clan in those days, and probably still are today. But anyway, to let you know, who is Asibikaashi? Well, Asibikaashi is this person here, this person who made this. This is called the Dreamcatcher. This person that made this long ago. Her name was Asibikaashi. She was sort of the first person to really make this little design. She was a spiritual native woman that did a lot of meditating, and she came up with this, and she called it the Dreamcatcher. But she was also known as the Spider Woman, her nickname, and also she was very revered and regarded by everyone far and wide, including the men. And she used to wield quite the authority in those days as a woman. That was unusual. But anyway, her name was Asibikaashi. And again, she's the founder of the Dreamcatcher. So I will talk a little bit about this, what she did, why she is a Messiah, and why this thing is significant and very important that has been oversighted by everybody on Earth. But now, of course, I shouldn't say everybody, because there are some places in the world where they actually use this still today. Now, one of the places, of course, is where it's originated in Canada. The natives here in Canada, they regard this quite highly, and they call it the Dreamcatcher too. But really, I'm here to explain more about this thing and Asibikaashi. And the things that I have to say, even the natives today don't actually know. So this is quite a bit of research that I did to come to this conclusion that she was the forgotten Messiah, or the lost Messiah and forgotten. But anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about this design. This is a very unique design. Now, a lot of people make them. But something is unique about this. You can only really make it in a specific way, which a lot of people don't know. Now, a lot of people make it wrong. I have two of these. I can show you one that is right, and I can show you one that is wrong. I'll give you an example. This one is right because this one was specifically made for me, or I had it made for me, so that it is right. And if you take a look at this, on this thing here, uh, it looks like a spider web to most people, or especially when depending how it's made. You can make it in many ways. Now, this is very specifically a good. This is a good one. This one here, it looks like a spider web. Some of them, I can show you one here that I have that looks like a spider web. That's probably why she was called the Spider Woman. Now, I'm going to show you this one here that I have. This one is another one, but you might not be able to see it properly. This one is actually wrong. Why is it wrong? Because the reason why this one is wrong is because it has an odd number of lines in here. And because this is symbol, this diagram or this design is specifically it has a meaning. And one of the meaning is that she explained that it's a dream catcher. Well, it's actually a little bit more than a dream catcher. But she's right. It can catch dream. But it can also do this. It can also catch day, not just night. So you don't have to dream for this to work. This will work whether you're awake or whether you're dreaming. So, and this is a unique thing. What this is a focal point. That's what Asibikaashi, because she was a spiritual woman. She managed to devise the focal point of the electromagnetic field. Basically, she meditated long enough to be able to see this. And she designed it. This is a specific design. This is not like actually the way she did it is precise and unique. So it's not just a spider web. A spider web is actually simpler. If you look, these lines go in a curve like this into a focal point, and they do this every so often. Now, there's another person before her that came up with something similar to it. There's several of them. One of them is Siddhartha Gautama. He called it the Dharma. Basically, this is the Dharma. But what this is a detailed drawing of the Dharma, where when Buddha did, he did not really do a detailed drawing of the Dharma. He just gave an approximate when it had 8 spokes in it, in the Dharma. Now, if you take a look there are 8 spokes here as well, just as Buddha did, because this is correct. And these 8 spokes here is exactly as what Buddha said, the Dharma. But the only thing is that when Buddha did, he tried to explain these eightfold, the Noble Eightfold Path, where she did not try to explain it so much, but she more or less, managed to devise the exact way how this thing looks, this eightfold path, which this is how it looked. There was another person previously before her. There was actually several ones. One is actually was just slightly before Buddha, and his name was Lao Tse, or is known as the Tao. See, now the Tao has the same thing. What the Tao has is that it has only one drawing of it. It doesn't draw all these things. It just has one in the middle and 2 eyes. The same thing. If you take a look also in this diagram, it has also the lotus petal flower in it. This is a very specific design. This design is what we know today in science as the electromagnetic field. So basically what Asibikaashi did, how long ago? The time of her being on Earth is sort of not precisely recorded, or is controversial. So I would say that she would have been anywhere from the 1st century, roughly, to probably 14th century. That's a huge span. that we don't exactly know exactly what day that Asibikaashi, or I could not verify it, the precise date. So I would say she could have been anywhere from the first century, means like around Christ or whatever, or before Muhammad. Somewhere in between there, I believe she existed in that time frame, which is a huge time frame actually. Another amazing thing about Asibikaashi that she did this work. She did the same work as all the rest, including Jesus. Jesus did this too. See, now if I show you a diagram a little bit more closer, if you look closer in the center, it looks like a cross. And I will show. Let me see if I can demonstrate this. I have a picture here that I want to show. Basically, this here is the same thing as this. Now, if you look in the middle of this, there is a cross. Precisely goes across. And that's exactly the cross that Jesus was crucified on, which is a focal point. So the cross represents a focal point like this does. They all do. And the Dharma is also a focal point. And so is the Tao. Okay? And so is the Hodge. And so is the lotus flower. See, now the lotus flower, they only showed one petal. But actually, if you take a look, there are all types of lotus flower petals all around here if you take a look. Now, I could tell you a little bit more about what this exactly means, this thing. This, why is this one right and this one is wrong? Because the way the electromagnetic field works is that, because what it does, it has the opposite side field always there. And there's a reason for it. When the field turns, when it gets to halfway, it needs to switch to the other side. So this pedal here is already available here on this side here. So as it goes from here, this here is already available here. Now let's say it was off and it was not precisely across. Then what would happen is that, let's say this was not here, it was over there somewhere. Then when the wheel goes around, then when it needs to go on the opposite side, it is not available. Why? Because it's not there. So you see, now when you make a Dreamcatcher, you cannot make a Dreamcatcher like this one, because this is wrong, because it doesn't have a start. This one has a start when it comes to it. Okay, it starts here, and when it finishes here, it restarts again. It has it right here on the opposite side. Now, if you look at this one here, this one is a little bit different, because when we start here, for example, here, this would be the opposite side. Here, right straight down. So when we go around and come here, there's none available here to restart. So this one is wrong. Okay? Most people don't know that. So they make all kinds of Dreamcatcher and they think they know what they're doing. But for fact, they don't. They have to understand, what is the Dreamcatcher? And what did Asibikaashi do? Well, she designed the focal point. And that's what this is. It's a precise drawing of the focal point. Wow. So anyway, I have to comment that Asibikaashi was a woman. And another most interesting, besides that she was a woman, where she lived. She lived in North America at that time, through her time. So now when we take a look at that and we say, well, where did she get her information? That's a good one, because there probably wasn't a lot available in those days like it was on the other side of the world, like where Jesus was, or where Muhammad was, or where Buddha was, or where Lao Tzu was. They had all types of information available to them to do their work. Where Asibikaashi was interesting, she really didn't have all those resources, but yet she made the best design of all of them. That includes Lao Tzu, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, and everyone else who tried to make this. Ashi actually made the best of all of them. And nobody knew what this is. So therefore, she never got the credit. And that's why I call her the lost or the forgotten Messiah that should have been noted long ago. But there's probably another reason why she was not noted. One of them is several reasons. One of them is that nobody really knew what this was, and the other one where she came from, and of course one of them most likely because she was a woman. And the other, she probably didn't look like a messiah to everyone, or should I say, she was actually not very widely known because there was no media in those days, of course, and then she was in a remote area when she did this. So, of course, her information didn't go very far. But even though it didn't go far, it lasted till today, and it's still widely used around the world. I have actually found that out that there is a place in the world where they make this, and it's in Sri Lanka. Interestingly, as far as Sri Lanka, they're producing these like masterpieces that so if you're looking for a Dreamcatcher, if you want to have the authentic one, the real one, you can get it from the air, from us. Okay, you can order it from us if you wish, and we'll send you one. And the price is quite nominal for and the quality is extremely good that we produce here, and we have the people educated so that they produce the right one and they understand what they actually are making. Okay, so this is a very important thing. Everyone should have one, to be honest with you. And the reason why everyone should have one, so we understand the electromagnetic a little bit more closer. Now I have to explain, why did Asibikaashi make this thing? Why was this so important? Because the entire universe runs on the electromagnetic field, or is driven by it and governed by it. And not only that, everything within it is also has that and is driven and governed by it. So this is actually very important. Things that we don't even know, and it is so important that actually we can use it for things. It's very useful, the knowledge within this, that we can further ourselves in many ways and do things that are nearly impossible just because of this. So it's very important. So not only that, again, I will say it again, the Dreamcatcher does not only work for dreaming, but it's also worked for a day. So basically all you have to do is think about it, and that's what this does. And or whether you're dreaming, you're also thinking about it while you're dreaming, or in the daytime when you're dreaming, you're concentrating. This will work day or night. So it's not just a dream catcher, but it's a day catcher too. Okay, so you can use it in either way. Now we have many different designs, so I just showed you one, for example, and I will show you another one, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the significance of the Dreamcatcher, and maybe a little bit more about Asibikaashi. And hopefully next time I'll have something that I have more scripted, so that it's a little bit more organized what I'm saying. Because most of the stuff I will be doing will be non-scripted, and it'll be mainly just off the top of my mind. So I might be missing a few things, but I'll try to get as much in as possible as I can. Okay, this is another one. We have many designs, so you can pick and choose all kinds you want. So we don't only have one, we have like endless of design, but every one of the design are the right one, so that they work for you. Okay, so they're not the wrong dream catcher. So it's very important that whoever makes them, no matter what they say, they should know what it is actually that they're making, so that they make it right for you. So you can make this wrong, or you can make it right, and you have to know which is right or wrong. And we've been able to have quite a few craftsmen that work with us that make this, and they are extremely professional at it. Okay, now a little bit about Asibikaashi, a little bit. She was a spiritual woman, very spiritual woman, and you can see it by her work. There is definitely, she beat everyone. Now, not she only was a spiritual woman, but she used to make these and hand them out. And she used to hand them out and tell everybody to put it above the crib of children, so that they could see it. And she she basically had them handed out all over the place, and everybody did so what she said, and this is how it spread throughout. Now, the focal point Not I, to explain, because that itself is an entire subject. So I will not go too deeply in it. So the focal point is the electromagnetic field, but in science, there is some information there that you can learn. Not as much as is available here, of course. Here contains a lot of information, whether a person believes it or not, but it does contain a lot of information. Same thing, this that I have designed myself, which one? I have another one. Where's the good one that I had? But anyway, this one that I designed, in the meantime, I will look for another one so I can show you a good one. Okay, this one. This one that I designed here has all the information that these have in it too, but a little bit more detailed so that you can see it. So it's not like a lot of lines that you cannot see. It's simply just two lines, a red and a black line going through. And that shows you everything. Now in here, you will, this symbol here contains all the information that in more detailed than this one. This is a little bit coarse because it doesn't really tell you a lot of stuff, so it's difficult to understand what this is actually. Okay, only someone who knows would recognize this right away and tell you, oh yeah, this is the electromagnetic field. Okay, now if you ask most people, they will call it a Dreamcatcher. Why? Well, they don't know what this actually is. Therefore, making it clear, this is a focal point, which is an electromagnetic field, and this one is precisely as the electromagnetic field is in science. Well, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully I'll have another subject next time, and I'll try to have another retake one day about this particular, about Asibikaashi and the Dreamcatcher, because of its significance and the importance of it. And it is very important that we do not forget the people that did also did wonderful work before us. And even if let's say you're not aware of her, that is fine. But as long as that somebody is making it available for anyone to know that there was a lady Messiah that had been forgotten, and we want to resurrect her again. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, and hope to see you next time